So to cut the binding, you want to cut it on the stretch of the grain, because you notice fabric this way has some stretch, this way has no stretch, and then crossways has a lot of stretch, and you want to be able to mold. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this over, and you notice I'm folding it in a diagonal. As you see, I've got it folded like in a diagonal shape, kind of like a hanky, kind of folded. I don't know if you can see this. See, it's folded on a diagonal, and the reason for that, because here's our stretch. Our stretch is here. See, here's our stretch, and this is where we want to cut and make the seam binding. Or I'm going to start by cutting on the fold where I folded this over. Okay, now, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold that over again. Now we got 4 layers. And if you want to cut less strips, you can fold it over one more time, and now your 4 layers becomes 8 layers. But just remember, you got to cut through all those layers. So, okay, so what I've done now you want to determine how wide you want your seam binding. And now I'm going to cut 3-inch wide strips. And my measurement on my finger is 1, 2, 3 inches. So I have a 3-inch finger here. A lot of us do. So I'm just going to position that right there, and it kind of lets me know. It doesn't have to be an exact science. And I'm going to cut. And then when I cut so far, you can fold this over and use it as a measuring tape and finish cutting the rest of it. Cut that on over. Okay, so that gives me 1 strip of seam binding. Actually, it's 2 of them folded over. But I'm going to cut another one, and I'm just going to use this as a measurement, and I'm just going to cut. Now, because this is small strips of the seam binding, you want to join your strips together, because you want one long strip. And you notice that you got your strips cut at an angle, and here's one angle. And if you lay them on top of each other, you want to have a continuous line. So if you do it like that, see, it just keeps going. So what you'll do is you'll flip this over, and you're going to sew those 2 pieces together. When they unfold, so you get one long continuous line. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to sew these together so that we can get one long line of our seam binding. You just want to sew all your strips together, and then we're going to sew our 5/8 inch seam allowance around the actual quilt.